Is this spike possible with every hitbox? Let's find out! Normal hitbox, accurate hitbox, negative hitbox, geo hitbox. And now to make everything perfect, let's give it a little tilt. How beautiful! But is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. Now wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Is this spike possible with every hitbox? Let's find out! Normal hitbox, accurate hitbox, negative hitbox, geo hitbox. And now to make everything perfect, let's give it.
Here's some terms you need to know for Geometry Dash. If a level is a layout, it means it's all gameplay and no decoration. It's usually the first step towards making a full level, but can also be a deliberate choice if you're making a challenge or joke level or just wanted to get something down. It can also be used passive-aggressively if you think someone's level is ugly. The opposite of that is rate-worthy, which means the level looks good enough for a star rating, but now you have to pray that it gets noticed. If a level is epic, it gets this fire and means it's really cool. If it's legendary, that means it's even cooler. And if it's mythic, stay off Twitter. If you work on a level with a friend, it's a collab, and once 5 or 6 people get involved, it's a mega collab. Only one person can upload the level, and everyone else just gets reduced to and more. If a level is 1.0, it means it was made with only the objects and tools from the first version of the game, like the original levels. It's less of a style choice and more of an excuse to not decorate. If a level is 1.9, it means it was built in the style of the last version before the editor became super overcomplicated and let you make pretty much anything. Update 1.9 had pretty tight constraints, but there were always charming ways to work around them. Some people still build on this version, so in that sense, it's like the Geometry Dash equivalent of Minecraft 1.8. This update also gave us a popular level called 9 Circles, which did this cool effect in its wave part. This somehow inspired people to make their own 9 Circles levels by copying not just the style, but pretty much everything, really. Here's some terms you need to know for Geometry Dash. If a
Hey man, I just got a new gaming PC. What should I install first? Nice, where'd you buy it? From you, PC Papa. Congrats, you get to skip the boring stuff. The drivers are done, Windows is updated, no bloatware, you're ready to go. Wait, really? Hey, is this an ad? Shh, I see what you're doing here, Zachary. Okay, what do I actually install? The fun stuff, like Steam. Done, what else? Everything.
Good thing I have a sleep tracker. Let's see how I do.
Sleep initiated.
Yes. Good night.
Light is off.
Yeah, I know.
Subject laying horizontally.
Quiet.
Vertically.
How can I sleep with you talking?
How can I track without me talking?
Whatever. Good thing I have earplugs.
Nope, those are AirPods.
You hurt my ears. I hate you.
And you hurt my feelings.
You have no feelings. You're a tracker.
That was crude and brash.
Good night.
Subject entering deep sleep. Snore number 1. Snore number 2.
I'll enjoy that.
Sleep talking detected.
All right, I'm backing up.
Subject dreaming about parallel parking.
Oops, sorry I hit you.
Subject backed into car behind him.
I'll need to get insurance involved. Technically, you were in my way.
Subject blaming fictional character.
No, don't call the cops.
Cops arresting subject.
I plead the...
Subject can't remember the amendment. You are awake.
Phew, it was just a dream.
Saving to folder. Nightmares.
Hey, what was my sleep rating?
2.
Out of...
2.
Oh.
Dual trigentillion.
Oh, well, I need more sleep then. Good thing I have a sleep tracker. Let's see how I do.
Sleep initiated.
Yes. Good night.
Light is off.
¿Por qué toda la gente del mundo está pidiendo que se cancele el mundial en Estados Unidos y Canadá? Y es que
To answer what the loudest recorded sound in history is, you
Dude. The most popular image file formats are probably JPEG and PNG. There's a major difference between them. Can you guess what it is? You probably can. It's transparency. JPEG doesn't support transparent backgrounds, and every time I search for a PNG on Google, it's a disguised JPEG. Hell, it might even be JFIF or whatever this monstrosity is. I'm tired of that. So today I'll make my own image file format. It will spread on Google. Every time you will download an image, you will see that it's not a PNG, it's not a JPEG, it's a BRO file. Okay, that probably won't happen, but I want to make my own file format in Rust, so let's go. So first up, we gotta make a function that will turn a PNG file into a BRO file. You're probably wondering how I will store the image data. Will there be any binary involved, any compression, any... No. Okay, actually it's me from the future. There will be some binary involved, aka bytes. This function goes through the pixels of the PNG file and translates their RGB value to hex. The reason we are switching from RGBA to hex is because hex is 6 characters long, if you don't include the hashtag. And RGBA, depending on how you store it, can be 10 characters long, in some scenarios. I'm not an expert here, but I think storing the hex will be better. Next we store each pixel color as hex inside the string. And at the end we write it to a file with the BRO extension. It's not finished yet, but here's how the BRO file looks like. A bunch of colors. Now, theoretically speaking, we could go through each 6 characters in the file, take it as a color and paint a pixel on the empty canvas with it, but currently we have no way of knowing when we have to switch to the next row of pixels, and therefore currently the script just goes in one row. A quick update, making the file have new lines was surprisingly easy, and I even wrote the code without googling it. I know it's simple, but I'm proud of it. Now the function is complete. We provide a PNG path to it and it will turn it into a BRO file, which consists of a bunch of hex values. It's around 3.3 times worse in terms of size. I could definitely improve it with some compression, but who cares? Hey, it's me from the future again. Turns out it's not 3.5 times more size, it can go up to 98% more size, which is roughly 12 megabytes from a 100 kilobytes file. Now let's make a way to actually view the BRO file. The plan is simple. We take each hex value in the file and draw a pixel with that color on an empty canvas. Then we show the image. I've wasted a couple hours trying to figure out why the data was being read in random characters. I tried different libraries and stuff like that. I almost lost the code, and then I realized I put PNG instead of BRO. Yeah. But hey, who cares? Now the script can read the file. Time to do some string manipulation to split each hex into an array. Quick question. What do you do if you write messy code? Try to make it simpler? Ignored it? No. You rewrite everything including the image structure. We are dealing with raw bytes now. Yay. It's currently night. I wasted 2 hours because I forgot to change .png to .bro. Again. So if we remove this, it should work. Oh no. What causes that color abomination to happen? I don't know. I fixed it by setting the alpha of the RGBA to 0.004. If anyone knows why that happens, comment it down below because I'm genuinely curious. So, now it works. But we have to make it so Windows runs the program each time I try to open a BRO file. How do we do that? Well... Okay, so we have to find a way to open a window in Windows that will show our image. How do we do that? Well, we have this package. This package. Surely Google has an answer. Surely ChatGPT can help. Surely Bing AI can help. Oh god. I finally found a way to show the image. Let's go! It's been a waste of time. Everything is finished now. If you want to turn a PNG file into a BRO file, you can run cargo run compile followed by the path to the image. And if you want to open a BRO image, then you can run cargo run followed by the path to the image. Or just set bro.exe as default app to use to open BRO files. More instructions are inside the GitHub repository below. Just as a side note, this is a stupid video, don't use the Brava extension, it's not meant to be lightweight, fast or efficient, it's just for the memes. A big thanks to all of the patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you converted an Excel spreadsheet to an audio file, or an MP4 video to a PDF document? Or maybe there's some other exotic combination worth trying out, but I guess we'll never know, because most online file converters only let you select formats in the same medium: images to images, videos to videos, text documents to fancier text documents, and so on. What if there was a service that could natively convert a Portal 2 demo file to a Flash animation, for example, and did so completely locally? All of these online tools upload your files to a server which does all the processing. I'm sure you can imagine why that's terrible for privacy. In fact, I cannot stress this enough. Uploading personal files to a random internet server is one of the most careless things that we've normalized. So I'm imagining a website that can convert anything to anything and locally in your own browser. These are the main two goals that I set out with to build my own file converter. If you don't care about how I did it, here's the link. You can go and try it for yourself. Though, bit of a heads up, there is a reason why no one has done this before, and that's what I'll be talking about in this video. Specifically, the elephant in the room is no doubt the promise of converting between two completely different mediums. Like, what would it even mean to convert an MP4 video to a PDF? Well, as you might already know, videos consist of multiple sequential frames, and a PDF document consists of multiple sequential pages. When you frame it like that, the process becomes pretty clear. You extract the video's frames into a series of images, and then build a PDF file with pages containing those images. But here, I want you to notice that we're actually dealing with two problems at once. Sure, we have to convert between file formats like MP4, PNG, and PDF, but we also have to convert between different forms of media, like digital images to document pages. For videos and documents, this is pretty straightforward, but things do get a bit more complicated when you're converting images to audio, for example. Even though you might support the JPEG format and the MP3 format, that doesn't make it any easier to figure out how an image becomes sound. Let's start with the easier problem for now, which is that we need to support as many file formats as possible. Now remember, this is supposed to be a website that does all of the computation on the client's computer. That makes things a bit more challenging than usual, because it means we can't just spin up VLC to decode a video, for example. The tools we use have to be compatible with a web browser. Take audiovisual media as an example. The most popular utilities for such formats are FFmpeg for video and audio, and ImageMagick for images. If you've never heard of them, you might be surprised to find that they're the backbone of many media-focused services. Even YouTube uses FFmpeg for transcoding video. At least sometimes. Nowadays, they do of course have proprietary tech to do the more common stuff. While ImageMagick and FFmpeg are usually native computer programs meant to run on a desktop PC or a server, people have ported them to WebAssembly, a technology that makes it possible to run them in a browser. This alone is a great starting point. Just these two would already make for a competent file converter for images and videos, even supporting some truly exotic formats. FFmpeg can even read BINC, which is the video format used in most Valve games. But I, of course, have no plans of stopping here. Let's also not forget that the average browser already has some built-in media capabilities. I mean, how else would it decode the video you're watching? Of course, in the majority of cases, our specialized tools do a much better job, but still, the built-in stuff can be useful sometimes. For example, the WebAssembly port of ImageMagick doesn't come with support for WebP images. However, most browsers can handle WebP. So I wrote a little script that renders the WebP on an invisible canvas, and then effectively screenshots that to turn it into a PNG. That PNG can then be fed directly into ImageMagick. So I've basically added support for an extra format with no additional cost. Another thing that browsers are good at is rendering documents. I mean, think about it. Why would I include a separate tool for parsing web pages or vector graphics if that's literally what your browser does all the time? I can take the contents of an HTML document, embed it in an SVG image using the foreign object tag, and then, just like before, put it on an invisible canvas and screenshot it into an image. But of course, when I say document, you probably aren't thinking of a web page. You are probably thinking of Office documents, like those of Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and so on. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be an all-in-one solution for parsing these on a browser. Sure, there are one-off tools specialized in handling one format at a time, and there are projects that glue them together, but that quickly becomes a bloated mess. On its own, this could have been brushed aside as an inconvenience, but that's still just the beginning. While there are options for all the major Microsoft document formats, there aren't as many for the open document alternatives. And concerning the tools that do exist, the most popular Word document to HTML parser, Mammoth, converts a document like this to this. It's not hard to spot the difference. And sure, I could patch it to add support for formatting, but Mammoth was never designed to do that. Its purpose is just to translate the document structure, and I'd be fighting the tool if I wanted authentic output. The only other reasonable alternative seemed to be including yet another commonly used open source media parser as a WebAssembly program. However, that would likely mean bundling LibreOffice, and as far as I can tell, this one's not as mature as the rest. It probably would give accurate results, but I was more worried about the size and loading times. So naturally, when the tools you want don't seem to exist, you go ahead and make your own. Yeah, I took a little bit of a detour to work on a standalone Office to HTML parser in pure JavaScript. In retrospect, this was probably a bad use of my time. There are three major steps to this: extracting the zip, parsing the XML, and rendering the document itself. The first one is exactly what it sounds like. A modern Microsoft Office or open document file is just a renamed zip file. Extracting zip files is a fairly common task, so I didn't really feel like reinventing the wheel on this one. That said, the existing libraries come with a bunch of stuff that I do not need, like support for creating zip files, which I never plan to do, and support for decompression algorithms, which I will never use. So instead, I got Claude to implement the bare minimum so that I could focus more on the important aspects like parsing XML. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language, and it's basically a somewhat human-readable data structure used for all sorts of things. When you extract a Word document, these are the files you'll find hidden within. They are what describe the document's entire layout and formatting. Now, if you've ever seen HTML, you might notice that XML looks very similar. Most browsers actually do support parsing XML data, but I wanted to make sure that this code can be used outside of a browser too. Luckily, writing an XML parser is not at all difficult to do. My implementation came in at about 70 lines of code, and while it probably won't work for everything, it serves its purpose in my specific use case. Now all that's left is to parse the actual document. I will say, the open document stuff is so much nicer to work with than Microsoft's format. It often translates directly to HTML with very little need for additional logic, and the components are directly reusable. You can pretty much just throw a presentation into the text document parser and it'll almost kinda work. Open document files also come with a thumbnail image, so if my parser ever crashes on something, it can at least still render a blurry